Aye. All right, good evening, everyone. Just a little housekeeping. If you have a cell phone, please put it on silent mode for us. If you have the need to have a conversation, please step outside. Thank you very much. A regular meeting of the City Planning Board will be held on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the City Council Chambers, room 206 on the second floor, Mount Vernon City Hall. Applicants and members of the public will be permitted to attend and make public comments via in-person attendance and Zoom. Item number one is going to be the roll call. I'm going to start on my left.
Jamel Thompson, Charles White,
Daryl Celsey.
Vivian Salmon.
Do we have any commission? I see Commissioner Trolio.
Frank Trolio.
Okay, please let the record reflect that we do have a quorum. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes for our December 4th, 2024 and January 8th, 2025 minutes. In the interest of time, I'd like to put them both together. Is there a motion to accept the December 4th and January 8th meeting minutes?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? None, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Item number 3, administrative items. This is 3.1, case number PB 24-7, 537 South 6th Avenue. Two-family resident district, planning board resolution review. At our last meeting, we had closed the public hearing and the planning board had asked staff to prepare a draft resolution. I would like to make a motion that the draft resolution be passed with the understanding that there is a de minimis zoning variance that is required and with a positive recommendation from the planning board.
so moved.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. 3.2 is concept plan presentation. 318 South 8th Avenue, section 169.30, block 3057, lot 4, in the RMF 6.75 multifamily residence district. Application has been submitted regarding demolition of the existing building on site above grade and the renovation of the cellar level below grade in order to construct a new recreational facility for the community, including a gymnasium and multi-purpose areas. The application requires review from all 3 land use boards, and the applicant requests a concept plan review by the planning board for feedback before moving forward with all the required application materials for the required area variances and other land use board reviews. Good evening. Very well, thank you. Nope, we just need you to state your name and record and who you're representing.
My name is Cappy Sabir from SRWs. We're the architect and engineer of record for the project. And we're representing Greater Centennial. I can pick it up?
Yeah.
I can rock the mic? Thank you. And we're representing Greater Centennial AME Zion Church. Pastor Pogue is here representing. So I'm Cappy Sabir. This is Maya Glavin. She works with me, so she may say some words. I don't know, Pastor, you think you're gonna get up and say something?
Pastor's rock of the Knicks fan, I guess.
Let's go Knicks. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Pastor.
We are grateful and thankful for the opportunity to present this concept to the planning board. This will be eventually the Belvie and Shirley Jackson Family Life Center. The Reverend Dr. Belvie Jackson was a pillar in this community. He was one of the ones who made sure that we would have affordable housing and begin affordable housing in Mount Vernon. And so to name this project after him, a former pastor of Greater Centennial, is an honor for him and his family and also for this. Greater Centennial is a congregation that reaches out to the community in so many different ways. We give tens of thousands of tons of food a year and so many other things we do for the community and our children. And this is an extension of that. This building will present a gymnasium that will be able to give youth in the community an opportunity to have a place of recreation, not just in the wintertime, but also in the summertime, a safe place for them to be. Greater Centennial Homes and all of the surrounding housing around Greater Centennial, there is no really play area inside. And so this would give an opportunity for that to happen. It also give an opportunity for classroom space and other space that is desperately needed in our community. So we thank you again for this opportunity to present this concept to the planning board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. All right. So what we're proposing, you see in front of you, do I need to turn it so that people can see on this?
No,
No, it's okay.
sorry, Frank.
All right. So what here, Maya? Take one. And I'll take the other. So you guys have visual. What floor do I have? I have the first floor. Okay. So what, to give a little context, we're proposing roughly 24,000 square foot building, single story, full basement, first floor. Sit on the site 318 South 8th Avenue. You guys may know that there was a building there years and years ago. This application was in front of the planning board back in 2007, I think. And the building was erected, and unfortunately, the economy collapse of '08 happened. And basically the building sat for many, many years. Unfortunately, it wasn't properly winterized. So when the church decided they wanted to re-embark on a family life center, we went and did an assessment and realized that structurally the existing building was unsafe. It just rained and snowed on it for over 10 years and all the steel was rusted and no good. So the decision was made to demolish the existing building, reutilize the existing foundation and build from there. And that is what we're presenting to you now. So the building itself is a prefab Butler building that modifications had to be made to the existing foundation to fit it, but that was done. So we could put this building on. It has office spaces, a gym, and a multitude of multi-purpose rooms that could be used for dance studios, acting, whatever it is they want to do. But basically, as the pastor mentioned, it is a building for the community that will be owned and operated by Greater Centennial AME Zion. There are some variances that we're going to have to ask for, which is why we're here doing the preliminary presentation to you guys today, because we will have to go in front of zoning to ask for some variances. The majority of them are variances that were already approved back in '07, but since that application is long gone, we'll have to ask for them again. Do I need to go through that level of detail with you guys? Or I know it's just a conceptual thing.
No, I mean, it looks very good. I think that you answered the questions in terms of what we were looking for. I think, speak for myself, but I believe that I do speak for the board members also, that it's you know, it makes us, it delights us to see an application before us here that is going to benefit the youth in the community and to give them a place to, you know, socialize and enjoy themselves. And
That is the
kids
plan.
And in a safe environment. So, you know, thank you for bringing it, you know, before us now. We do know that there are variances that will be required. And, you know, once you go to zoning, once that's taken care of, then it will come back to us.
Right.
But just in general, I mean, I like the idea. I remember years ago when it was presented, I was sorry to see that it wasn't completed. So looking forward to seeing this come to fruition this time around.
Excellent. Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Anything further? Citizens' consensus? A place for the community to come, play, and enjoy the things inside of the building. So I appreciate that, and you know, thank you. I look forward for when you come back after you go through the process for the plans altogether. So thank you.
Oh, excellent.
I just have one question. This is going to be a standalone, correct? It's not going
Standalone
to be
building.
attached to the church or anything like that.
No.
Very good. Okay, thank you.
Completely, it'll be behind the church, but completely separate.
But separate, okay.
Commissioner Trolio?
I have no comments at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pat. What's the size of that? What size is that? All right. Let's see, 3.3, this is the proposed 2025 planning board meeting schedule. Everyone had an opportunity to take a look. Yes. Okay. Any questions, concerns? Just want to bring, to your attention that we do have the summer recess in August. So there will not be an August meeting. That, other than that, the dates seem okay for you. Okay, land use, I do have one concern though. Which will probably be the July meeting. Where it's gonna be around the July 4th holiday. So. Yeah. Okay. But for right now, I think that's okay, but we can. You know what, I don't know, Thursday, I was prepared not to be.
Bring you a cake.
Okay, all right. So, what, let's talk about this, later, all right? Okay, thank you. Item number 4, this is a continuation of the public hearing. This 4.1, case number PB 24-9, 165 Summit Avenue. Section 165.56, block 2062, lot 25, and the RMF 6.75 multifamily resident district. I did check with our land use secretary earlier, and all of the proper notices have been done for each application. That's for us. Okay, thank you very much. I do see that we have legal representation, new legal representation before us. Mr. Scully, good evening.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. Can you reach? Okay. So, to begin with, I must admit that I'm at a bit of a disadvantage here because my understanding is that this project was presented before this board at least on 2 previous occasions. I believe this is the 3rd time that this matter has been on.
Right.
So forgive me if I appear to be redundant in kind of outlining my analysis of the project and the way in which we wish to present it to this board. To begin with, we can at least acknowledge that the property is currently in a zone that is designated as an RMF 6.75, which, as this board is aware, does permit the construction of a multifamily project. As the board is also aware, notwithstanding the fact that the zone where this project is currently sited is in fact an RMF 6.75, the applicant is not proposing to construct a multifamily development. In fact, the applicant seeks to subdivide the existing parcel into 4 separate lots. There is an existing 4-family that's on the lot itself. The proposal after the subdivision would then create 3 separate or additional lots that would include two-family dwellings. Now, as this board is also aware, the enabling statute that has to be considered in the board's determination is the New York State General City Laws. Specifically, I believe, sections 32, 30, and 33, and 34. Now, when you look at the preamble to this, the statute, it provides the board with broad discretion in looking at a number of different factors in making a determination with respect to whether or not the project is not only feasible, but also viable and consistent with the development strategy for that neighborhood. Specifically, it sets out that the planning board shall require that the land shown on the plot be of such character that it can be used safely for building purposes without danger to health or peril from fire, flood, drainage, or other menace to neighboring properties or to public health, safety, and welfare. I mean, that's really a broad construct. When you dig deeper and you look at the court's interpretation of what that actually means, what you find is that the planning board is actually charged with ensuring that any subdivision, and we're focused specifically on subdivisions, must be consistent with the zoning regs. Because obviously, and if I could just have the zoning map put up for a moment so we can go through that, you'll note that where this property is located, which is the RMF 6.75, directly adjoining that is a R1 4.5 and R2 4.5. Matter of fact, if we encapsulate this entire area as part of our analysis, I'm pretty sure the board will appreciate the fact that this neighborhood is actually more predominantly single-family and two-family residential development. And even in the RMF 6.75, in looking at the table, approximately, I would say, in excess of 50% of the buildings in that RMF 6.75 are in fact two-family dwellings. So to the extent that this applicant is proposing to construct two-family dwellings in this neighborhood, I think it's actually more in keeping with the character of the existing housing stock that's there now. And I think one of the points that this board should be aware of is the existing lot itself is approximately 32,000 square feet. And under the existing zoning code, in an RMF 6.75, it allows for a square footage per dwelling unit of approximately 2225, I believe, 2250. So to the extent that this is the property or the parcel is in a zone that actually permits a higher density, as of right, and this is important, as of right, if the property owner were to develop that parcel as an RMF 6.75, as of right, he would be entitled to construct 14 units. So given what's being proposed, when you compare it with what could be potentially developed, we're talking about 12 units as opposed to 14 units. So I would ask the court, I'd ask the board to consider that in your analysis of any issue with respect to a determination on density. Based on some of the commentary that I've received from my client, I believe one of this board's concern was the parking issue. And I want to address that in a different context. Because one of the interesting things that I was able to ascertain from my review of the relevant cases on this is that zoning law, and particularly subdivision law, is really a body of law that's of recent vintage, probably late 19th century. I think the first case that I was able to identify that spoke directly to these issues on subdivision goes back to, I believe, 1897. And interestingly enough, those cases that were being adjudicated in the courts talked about nuisance. And nuisance, to the extent that property owners were concerned that if a adjoining property owner had unfettered rights to develop the property as they see fit, then obviously it could have an impact on their peaceful enjoyment of their property. So just as a outrageous example, you would not want to have a fireworks factory sited next to your house. So that's really how the zoning cases developed, particularly with respect to subdivision, that there was a recognition that not only did you want the planning scheme within a community to conform to the zoning, that because the zoning typically would be based on a comprehensive plan that would permit the orderly development of an area. And there is actually a case, and I know that there are attorneys on this board that I think you would find interesting, where it talks about streets, highways, and the suitable improvements. Because in addition to the general city law that just gave that broad overview of the analysis that the planning board should basically go through, the legislation actually outlined specific additional requirements. And one of those requirements is that the planning board should also require that streets and highways be of sufficient width and suitable grade and should be situated and located to accommodate prospective traffic, to afford adequate light and air, to facilitate fire protection, and to provide access of firefighting equipment to buildings. It doesn't really talk about parking, but we're going to get to the parking issue separately. But I just wanted the board to be clear on how the courts have interpreted that requirement that the planning board look at. And I'll just read from this case, and for the attorneys that are on the board, I'll give you the case site. It's Machia v. Board of Appeals. And excuse me, and that's 7 miscellaneous second 763. And believe it or not, that's a 1957 case. And the holding in that case says, in case of emergency such as sickness, accident, fire, or other catastrophe, a road over which automobiles and fire apparatus can travel safely must always be available. Otherwise, great suffering, property damage, and even loss of life may result. Nor is it only in time of peril that such roads are essential. In this era of the automobile, modern living as we know it is impossible without improved highways linking people with their jobs, schools, and their amusement and entertainment. So this is a developed community with streets and highways that provide access and does provide all of the requisite requirements that's set forth in the case law with respect to this specific issue that this board must look at as one of the additional requirements. But all of these cases tend to point back to zoning. That is the overarching consideration for this board to look at in making its determination. And I want to go through some of the specifics regarding this project on that very issue, because I think if you look at what's being proposed and how it compares with the building code requirements as well as the zoning requirements, I believe that this board will reach the conclusion that not only is this development consistent with our zoning scheme and what could limitedly be viewed as our comprehensive plan, but it exceeds all of the requirements. And I'm just going to go through some of the empirical information that we're going to present to you here tonight. And certainly I'll provide the board with this information, although my understanding in speaking with the architect, all of this information is actually part of what this board has in your possession. So you can review it, or certainly if the board has additional questions, or if the board has additional areas of concern that you wish for us to present separately, we'd be more than willing to do that. So I'm going to start with, and this is all zoning requirements now. Keeping in mind that we're in a RMF 6.75 multifamily zone, even though we're proposing a development that will be adherent to the R2.45 zone, which is a two-family. RMF 2.75, when we're dealing with lot area, which has a proportionate or a direct relationship to density. As I indicated before, RMF 6.75 permits 2,250 square feet per dwelling unit. The R17 single-family zone requires 7,000 feet. R1 4.5 requires 4,500 feet. The R2 4.5, which is the zone that we are proposing to basically downsize the RMF 6.75, 2,250 square feet per dwelling unit, total of 4,500. Now in the RMF 10, which is obviously a denser zone, it's 1,200 square feet per dwelling unit, and RMF 15 is 2,250 on the first unit, and then 600 on each additional unit. Again, zoning, maximum stories, maximum height. The permitted number of stories in this zone, 3 stories, 35 feet. This project proposes 2.5 stories with a maximum height of 32 feet. The side yard setbacks, a combined 12 feet, 7 and 5. Lot A, the setback is 18 and 9 and 19 feet, total of 37 feet. Lot B, 22 and 15, 37 feet. Lot C, 15 and 5, 20 feet. Lot D, 15 and 5, 20 feet. All of the setback requirements, every lot in this proposal exceeds what the code required, what is required in that zone. Front yard and the rear yard setbacks. What's required is 20 feet in the front, 20 feet in the rear. Lot A, meets that requirement. 20 in the front, 20 in the rear. Lot B exceeds that requirement. 44 in the front, 35 feet in the rear. Lot C exceeds the requirement as well. 20 feet in the front, 35 feet in the rear. Lot D as well. 23 in the front, 35 in the rear. Almost a 50% increase over what's required. Now, when we move to lot width, the required lot width for the two-family is 5,000 square feet. Here again, that's exceeded. Lot A, 7186. That's a 59% increase over what's required. Lot B, 6,750, 50% increase in over what's required. Mhm. Mhm.
The zoning requirements here are not an issue. I'm sure that Mr. McIntosh is compliant, so that's really not what's at issue here. But you're welcome to continue, but.
I'm almost done.
But this is not an issue.
Yeah, okay. Lot C is 5562, that's a 23% increase. And lot D is a 25% increase. And a similar analysis of the impervious surface concludes that this proposal far exceeds the minimum requirements. And the same issue with storm drains. My understanding from the applicant is that they've even done a percolation test. And they've made a determination that based on the soil type that's here, that the expectation is that not only is the storm drains that will be installed on the site exceed the requirements as far as the runoff requirements, sewer management, water retention control. So all of these issues point to the fact that there should be no issue with respect to density. I understand that there may be some concerns about parking, but I think overall, the concerns on parking need to be balanced against the position, both not only of the city, but also of the applicant, that it's important for us to be able to support development in our community. It not only enhances aesthetically the neighborhood itself.
I'm gonna stop you there
Okay.
also. At prior meetings, this board has requested that Mr. McIntosh consider making adjustments to the proposed development in order to work with the community. Mr. McIntosh has refused to do so. And
Come on.
it has been proposed by this board that you decrease the scale of the development. Instead of building 3 additional units in addition to the one that's already there, to possibly scale it down to a lower size for density concerns. Not unless I've missed something at the meetings I've attended, Mr. McIntosh has not provided any compromise in any way. The only report that we've gotten from this board is that I have the ability to build as of right. So that's all we've heard. That's not working with the community. That's just asserting, something that you believe to be the case under the law. And I will remind you and Mr. McIntosh that just because it's as of right, doesn't mean that it's not within the board's purview to consider density overall. And I appreciate your recitation regarding density earlier, but that's what I would say.
Again,
1 second.
Sure.
I just would like to just kind of add on to what Commissioner Whites was indicating. And I'm just looking at some of the minutes from the last couple of meetings. And this was an assertion from Mr. McIntosh that he acknowledges that that due to overcrowded houses in the area, they're contributing to the parking concerns in the neighborhood, which obviously, acknowledges that it's deficient there. That is one thing that obviously, we've heard, and the residents in the immediate area, the homeowners there, have echoed sentiments that it's an issue. We did ask on numerous occasions to see whether or not this could be scaled back, because the community actually said something that's a responsible development, they were okay with, but they haven't heard that, and we haven't heard that. What we're seeing now is the fact that, and again, we acknowledge that it's zoning compliant, that they can, as of right, build, certain houses. But that doesn't change the density. And when we're looking at the numbers that we're talking about here, I'm talking about, I wrote it down again, I went over this before. These are 3 two-family homes that are 3 over 3. And when you're looking at the room count, you're talking about, you could have a maximum number of, and this is just in the 3 two-families, 36 occupants there, if you had 2 to a room. If you even scaled it down to 24, that's just there, and then you've got a 4-family that has 2 3-bedroom units there. You're talking about anywhere from 12 to 20 there, so we're talking about 36 to 56 individuals possibly residing in that small space. And that is the overall concern that the residents have, put forth to us, that it just would be too saturated and just too dense, and parking would be pretty much non-existent. Their quality of life, family coming over, visiting friends, whatever, there would be nowhere for them to park. And this exacerbates the situation that the applicant has acknowledged is deficient. So this does not help to alleviate the concerns that the community has. They want to work with the applicant, but they want this scaled back. And if it's not scaled back, I don't see how we could, move forward in a positive way and approve something where the concerns of the residents and the board, and again, getting back to our purview, which definitely is density in the area, it's not addressed. It was heard, but nothing was presented saying, hey, we're coming back. We want to do 2 two-family homes. We want to do 3 one-family. None of that. It's just, as of right, we can build 3 two-family homes. And that's what we've heard. And, after you finish, I'm going to turn it back over to the public, and I'm sure they're going to echo those sentiments. And that's a concern that we all have.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the applicant did provide this board with a financial analysis. I believe the board initially had asked them
We did.
to consider reducing the scale of the project to construct 3 one-families as opposed to 2 families. And based on financial feasibility, it was determined by the applicant that it just wasn't plausible for them to pursue that approach. So if
And based on that, and, as you know, a self-inflicted hardship is not something that this board has to be concerned about. If someone is not able to make money on an investment that they made, that happens. Okay, so there's no guarantee just because you buy property that you're going to be able to do whatever it is that you want with that property and maximize and get every nickel out of it. So again, from what the residents, and I'm going to have them come back up here and speak, they are not opposed to something being done. They just want it to be responsible. And based on the density, they're saying that it's too much. And we're listening to that.
now you mentioned that you had this discussion with the applicant, and your concern is that, I guess, based on your calculations, that there would be approximately on average about 56 occupant.
somewhere.
Somewhere in there,
Somewhere
3600.
somewhere between, you could, theoretically have up to 56 residents, living there.
Okay,
I'm going to go down, say maybe it's 36, but it's still a large number of people that are going to be residing, that are going to be there. And that changes, vehicular patterns, people coming in, school, there's a lot that's not being taken into consideration. And, that's why, I want to have some of the residents come back up and speak, because they live there and they see how it is now. And the issues that they're having right now. And so when something's being built, it exacerbates what's there. It doesn't help. So we're trying to see, what can be done. And I really would have hoped that the applicant would have really listened to the concerns, that they put forth, credible concerns, and also that the board has also, mentioned. And it seems like, they're being ignored.
well, 2 points. One is, assuming that the financial analysis that was submitted by the applicant is valid and acceptable to the board and made sense. So just in terms of the raw economics, it just wouldn't be feasible for them to build one families.
Well, I mean,
Are you, is the board, well, the question that I wanted to ask the board is
that's
very,
the analysis that they put forth.
Right.
Do I,
right,
as a real estate professional, think that if they were to build single-family homes, I've got a colleague actually in the audience, I think they could do quite well. So I don't necessarily buy that you couldn't make money doing single-family homes.
well, let's separate from the premise then that the one family is not feasible. Would the board's concern then be limited to the fact that what's being proposed are 2 3-family units? Would there be any other consideration?
That's why, we've got residents here, I want them to come up so that you can hear, because you weren't
Okay.
here in the last 2 meetings.
Okay.
So I'd like for you to hear, what they have to say.
Okay,
And I think that if it were scaled back again, to say, whether it's building, 1 2-family home, maybe one family, but listening to what they have to say in terms of, their concerns. And again,
Mr. Scully, in 2 successive meetings, the community has been up here expressing their concerns that they have been ignored to this point. They're
That's
going to
not
do it,
correct.
they're going to do it for a 3rd time. Okay, so maybe after this 3rd time, maybe there can potentially be a meeting of the minds here to come up with something that works for everybody.
Could I have something to say? This.
Not-
Of
not-
course.
no.
The first point you asked for, we gave you an analysis for between a 1 and 2 family dwelling. You asked me to provide more parking and I provided more parking. Those 2 things were addressed.
okay, what about scaling the project down?
No, we never,
It's
you
slow.
asked me before we scale the project down, you never responded to my analysis, whether 1 or 2 family works. We gave you the analysis.
We listened to you, you gave it to us.
Financial analysis is but a data point, it's not this positive for this board.
But I understand what you have to review it, don't you?
So, but if you, just because you give us a financial analysis, that does not mean it is the holy grail and the end. all be all.
Why were you objecting to this project in particular? I don't understand why. I'm giving you everything as.
Mr.
a matter
McIntosh,
of-
I think that we've articulated well what the
No, but
concerns
I
are,
gave you
and I think,
access to
the
do.
community at
I gave
large
you, I
has
gave you
communicated
drainage.
that as
I
well.
gave you,
And
there were
we
4
can
So,
go
Matt.
talk, or you can allow the chair to
Matt.
talk before I thank you. But again, it was in, and it clearly states in here, and actually, Commissioner Thompson agreed, Commissioner White had asked if plans could be scaled back, and that has not been addressed. So that was something that you made aware of, and you chose not to address that, which is fine.
Based on the
you came back,
analysis that we gave
you came
you.
back. Okay,
I think
so, all right.
The question,
I'm gonna,
the question, the,
okay.
Mr. Chair, the question that I wanted clarified, on the point of, scaling back the project. Is there, or would there be any consideration if, I don't want to refer to it as the rental unit, but one of the second units in the 2-family is not a 3-bedroom, would that suffice? So that there could be a balance on the economic analysis?
Yeah, and still we're in the public hearing phase, so I want to hear what the residents have to say in terms of their perception of the density.
Mhm.
I don't know whether or not, whether it it's, you know, not having the three, it seems like three is gonna be too many. I don't think that three, and I think that the community but again, they're gonna come up and speak for themselves, but from what they've told us before and have articulated, that they felt that that was, you know, too dense. They would want to see it scaled back smaller, but I'm gonna have them come up after you finish, I'm gonna turn it over to the public so that you could hear, you know, their concerns and what they have to say. And again,
Well, I'll give them an opportunity to speak. I'll just make one final point.
Please.
The chair had raised the issue of the self-created hardship. I just, you know, want to make it clear that we're not applying for a use variance, so a self-created hardship is not fatal to this application. It would just be a factor in consideration.
It's not. Mr. McIntosh assumed this, purchased the parcel, right, to what he could or couldn't do with this land as it relates to the land use boards. So that was a risk he took.
But the land use board allows me to do it. What are you saying?
no, the being zoning compliant allows
Being
for,
zoning compliant is
but that does not mean,
different than
exactly.
this board. Ask your attorney, he'll tell you.
Thank you.
So at this time, we do have members of the public, and I'm gonna ask if you could, please come up and state your name just for the record. So please come up.
My name is Robert Wright. First of all, I appreciate, my concerns, being, mentioned by you guys, your honor, your whatever. I appreciate that because all I heard was being in compliance with the zoning laws. And the purpose of this meeting was basically addressing the whole density issue, which it wasn't, you know, and like you guys said, I felt ignored, almost disrespected that that wasn't even mentioned. It's sort of like we're not even here. I think that it's insensitive to ignore the people and our concerns. As far as density is one of the issues, but there are multiple issues. There's school buses that come and go. You're increasing the amount of people in the proposed dwelling, and you're also taking away available parking spots. As mentioned before, there would be driveways being put in a place where the sidewalks were. So not only you're increasing the amount of people that's in the neighborhood, but you're taking away parking spaces. I'm the last house on a dead end street. I have my own business. I come and go during different times of the day as my neighbors well. I just don't see the concern for people that's living there. If that happens, I'll be forced to sell my house. Because it's a major change that they're not even considering. And if they had any chance for me to kind of work with them in some kind of compromise, it would be talking to me, talking to us. But they ignore us and they're dealing with you only. So I'm just saying that I'm gonna vote against it regardless of what happens.
I mean, the importance and part of the process is we want you to voice your concerns.
Okay.
Okay, and the resident, because you live there.
Yes.
Okay, so things that you feel in terms of could possibly work, you know, again, we want the applicant to hear to see whether or not that's something that could possibly work.
Right.
You know, where you felt that it would be with, you know, befitting of the area and to address and mitigate some of the, you know, parking concerns as well. So
Well, that's the
that's why
compromise.
we want to hear what you
Right.
have to say.
That's the compromise that I and pretty much everyone here would be willing to at least listen and have a conversation about it. But how can I feel about the proposal that's not even, that's ignoring us, like we don't live here? And if you guys were to say, okay, based on the compliance and the zoning laws, go ahead and do it, they'll be very happy to. And another thing, this is just my gut feeling. I see some potential conflict if that happens because of the kind of attitudes that's being thrown around. You know what I mean? And at some point, It's not just the people that's going to be occupying the proposed dwellings, but they also have family and friends. So you can talk about 56 people, 24, 36 people. They have friends and they have families that will come and visit. That's not being addressed. So, and as you said, because you buy a piece of property and you anticipate subdividing it into 4 different or 3 more additional lots, that as long as it deals with the compliance with the zoning law, that it'd be fine. I mean, we have rights too. But I tell you, there's no way that I would continue to stay in my house if that happens. Now, it's not a threat to anybody, but I'm just telling you, I didn't move to Mount Vernon to be under this.
Concern.
Yeah.
What type of, just out of curiosity, what type of development do you think could go there?
I would have to, in all fairness, have a conversation.
Just an idea.
Anything that doesn't interfere with my living, which means that I don't know how many more.
So I guess my question is, what's being proposed right now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you've got an existing 4-family. that's
Right.
it. And then you've got 3 2-families that are being proposed.
Mhm.
Okay? What number, like, what do you feel? Do you feel that it's 1 house? Do you think it's 2 houses? What do you think is something that would work within the parameters of what's going on so that it could, the neighborhood could absorb, and if they mitigate and they added additional parking? What is it that you, just trying to get a sense?
I don't know how many homes are on the other side of, is that Drake? Summit that come across, on the other side, I don't know how many homes on the other side, but to have driveway, taking away a parking spot. If you don't have that and possibly maximum 2 homes that don't necessarily come and go from the street. What is that? Huh? Claremont. Yeah,
Right, so you've got it on 2 sides. So if there were a house on one side and then one on the other side, is that?
well, as long as it doesn't come and go from this side.
Okay.
If they propose to do something where they come and go on the other side and it's reduces, and you can reduce the dwellings and or the size of the dwelling, might be considered. Again, I would have to, out of respect, speak to my neighbors.
Well, they're gonna come up
Yeah,
also. They're gonna
yeah.
give their concern.
But yeah, as long, I don't think opening up a driveway to come on the side where we are could work. Even if you eliminate 2 to 3, and put just 2 additional dwellings, I think it could be a problem still. 1, maybe, but still the driveway could propose a problem. That's what my concern is. If there's no driveway, then I don't think we're gonna have as much of a problem with density. They will on the other side, but then again, I don't know if that matters to them. But thank you for bringing up the fact that, they didn't address anything, the issue regarding the density problem.
Anyone else from the public? See some faces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Liz Ferrer. I live at 180 Summit Avenue, across the street from the development. I've been living there for 40 years. And for me, building 3 additional homes, a 2-family house, it's just overcrowding. It's density to max. And he's correct, yourself, Mr. White and Mrs. Celce, as you were saying, you're looking at a density of over 30 to 50 people easily. Parking is going to be an issue, even though the developer has said there'll be parking for each apartment. I have a 3-family house. I only have parking for myself because I have 2 cars in my family, on my household, plus when my brother comes over. So I don't give my tenants a parking spot in the parking and the driveway, because and then I have to ask them to move cars, whatever. And that's what's going to happen. A lot of these individuals are going to buy their homes. The landlords are probably going to use the parking for themselves, because there's always going to be a family that's going to have more than 1 car per family. So parking is going to be a major issue. And right now that's happening already. It's going to increase crime. The overlook of the neighborhood is going to be completely changed. I have no problem developing 1 house on a lot. keeping this, the main home that's there now, and maybe doing one of the two families on the back end on the other side of the corner of, the opposite corner of where that home is. It doesn't look overcrowded and it doesn't take away the character of what the neighborhood looks like. You know, and yes, again, you mentioned for them to revise plans and it's coming back, you know, I understand the developer, he just wants to build, but the minute he builds, he's gonna sell it, leave it, and then it's gonna be the neighborhood that's gonna have to deal with the overcrowding, the parking, and every other issue that's gonna come with it. And I think that's totally unfair for us. And I appreciate you guys listening to us and hopefully, you know, they will, I have no objections working with the developer and have them come back with the revised planning of what to build there, but to build two additional, you know, 3 additional 2-family homes, it's just gonna be, it's gonna be overcrowded, extremely overcrowded. Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good evening.
My name is Bernice Kennedy, and I live at 14 Sagan Street. And I agree with everything that was said prior to me coming up here. The one thing, you keep talking about financial and stuff like, and stuff like that, but that's not helping us in our neighborhood. That's not gonna help us. And I was listening to the other gentleman that was doing the gentleman right here. He was, all his figures and stuff like that, and all his numbers and stuff like that means nothing to me. That's for the benefit for them. What affects me is the quality of life. Once those buildings go in there and the people come in there, my quality of life is gonna change. My parking is gonna change. My living is gonna change there. When I bought this property, it was only a few cars on the block. Now, during the time, we have families. Most of our kids drive. Now there's more cars on our block. Now, if he build that property and other cars come in there, it's nowhere for us to go. And I really don't want to have this in our neighborhood. If we speak to the other neighbors on Sageman Street and we agree with something that's comparable that he can use, fine. But the way it is now, no, I no for me. Okay.
What about something, I believe was Ms. Ferrera pointed out,
Mhm.
there's the 4-family that's on the parcel.
Mhm.
If something were to go that's on the Summit side, on the Claremont side.
Mhm.
If a 2-family were built on the Claremont side, just 1 2-family there, is that something, because then you would have 1 parcel here on Summit and then 1 on Claremont. Is that something that you feel would work in terms of not making, the density?
It's something I would.
Or not having the same
I'm sorry.
concern and something that you feel you could,
That's something I would consider, but we have a neighborhood. And all of us in the neighborhood, we would discuss that and what's comfortable for us, then we would agree on that and let the board know if that's possible. And let the board know what.
well, that's kind of why we're here now. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
just
yeah.
want to kind of
Yeah,
get a sense.
yeah,
So
but-
if you say that, it's something something, and then somebody else came back and they said that something's possible and
Yeah.
someone else said the same thing.
Yeah.
Ultimately what we're going to do is again, go back to the applicant and ask them what they could possibly do
Mhm,
to, listen to the concerns
mhm,
and scale back and show
Yeah.
us if they can, provide us
Right.
something that's different
Right.
that the community and the residents,
Yeah.
can either like or be okay with.
Yeah, because what they're doing now, to me, it's like they're trying to shove us something down our throat, forcing on us or to take it or leave it so they can make money. That messes up our quality of life. We have to live there. And as I say, as you say, if something that can be reduced,
Mhm.
it's a possibility, yes. But as it is now, no.
Well, that's, you know, and that's why we have the process here.
Yeah.
Because we want the public to come up, because
Right.
we want to hear,
Right.
because you live there.
Right.
And so we want to know if there's something that, you know, we're not thinking about as well.
Yeah, right. I bought my
So-
house in '89 and you should have seen it. It's
Right.
beautiful. It's been beautiful ever since then. It's
Right.
no problem,
No,
you
and
know.
listen,
no
we
problem.
appreciate you taking the time to
Yeah.
come here, you know, also,
Okay,
you know, because we know that you could be doing other things, so.
okay.
You know,
And
thank
and we thank you for your considerations. Okay,
All right.
okay.
My name is James White.
Good evening.
Want the address to 31 Sageman Street, Mount Vernon, New York. Mr. Chair, I was wondering if I could, for the record, to present a newscast of how bad the parking is in our area. Is that okay?
Sure. I'm going to ask if we can you can forward that to, where you can get. Okay, we can forward it to the land use secretary. We'll listen to it. We'll look at it. And we'll make it part of the permanent record.
Oops, hold on, let me get it together.
Involving a fight over a parking spot in Westchester that turned violent, sending 2 people to the hospital. Let's get right to News 12's Lisa LaRaga in Mount Vernon with that story. Not always easy to find parking here along busy North Columbus Avenue, so people in the neighborhood say they're not surprised a fight broke out over a spot.
This street is horrible, Lisa.
Well, Lisa, drops of blood on the sidewalk, medical supplies strewn on the ground, the after effects of a physical altercation on North Columbus Avenue in Mount Vernon Monday night. Police were called to the area after several people got into a fight. Mount Vernon Mayor Sean Patterson Howard told News 12 by phone the fight was over a parking spot.
How close into relation to where you are?
No, right down the street.
Personnel at the Kobe Medical Center in the Bronx. Now, one person from Mount Vernon was brought in around 11 last night to be treated for stab wounds. However, Mount Vernon investigators say no one was stabbed, but they say there were non-life-threatening injuries caused by a metal pipe during the fight, and one person involved was bitten on the finger. At least 2 people were taken to Jacoby for treatment. There's no word yet as to whether any arrests were made. Meanwhile, people living in the area say while the incident is certainly upsetting, they're not shocked that it happened.
Parking is a big issue, big issue. Don't surprise me. Don't surprise me.
And the mayor tells me detectives continue to investigate the incident. We're in Mount Vernon. Lisa LaRocca, News 12.
So, again, I just want to go on the record, same thing, I appreciate you, the board's recommendations, because we're in total agreement with minimizing the project. Me, I would say 2 one-family homes. We'll discuss it with the neighbors, see if that's acceptable, but I believe 2 additional one-family homes versus in conjunction with what's there now. We might be able to work with that. Obviously, we want to consult with everybody. It's not one person.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna ask everyone who's
Mhm.
here or lives in the area to please, you know, let us know also. So if you're coming up with 2 one-families, we heard a proposal for, you know, 1 2-family on the other end also, so. This is something that, you know, we're hoping that the applicant is gonna listen to and hear and, you know, come back with something.
Okay.
So,
That's all. I mean, we will,
okay.
obviously, that's an empty space. We would want to see something in there to make it, but not something that's going to destroy everybody's way of living. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You said, I'm sorry, you said to send that video to?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come see you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Myra Dixon Maxwell. The parking is a problem.
Okay, I'm just sorry, you live in the area there?
Yes, I live at 11 Sageman Street.
Thank you.
And I have to reverse out of I'm just at the bottom of the hill, and sometimes people park. And I have a problem coming out because there's a car on the other side and a car on the other side. And I tried to look for, one day I took a photograph. I was coming in and it's a one-way street and people park at the end of the the beginning of the street, and two large vehicles. And I took the photograph and I sent it to the public works, but I have to look for the photograph because it's hazardous coming, you can't see who's coming up on a one-way street when you're coming from Claremont Avenue. I'm concerned. I had this question for Mary. The last meeting, she said that she made a promise to the person who she bought the property from not to build an apartment building. So I have a question for the developer. When you put up these two-family houses, are you gonna sell them to owner occupied, or are you gonna just sell them to investors? Because that makes a difference. Owner occupied. Because I said I need to ask the question because when you sell it to an
Well,
investor.
the answer is,
Yeah.
they don't know. And-
I know.
It
I
would
know.
be- it
But
would
he's
be-
saying that they're
it's
gonna be owner
whoever-
occupied.
whoever is going to purchase the property.
I know.
Whether it's
He
someone
said
that's
he's
an
gonna,
owner
I just,
occupant,
but
or if it's an investor, it's whoever's would be willing to pay the price they're looking for.
yeah, because I was just trying to say that statement that Mary made is not valid because you could do anything with the property you want to do it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Sylvie. I'm from 117 Claremont. Along with my neighbors, I oppose this development that 3 houses, 2-family. It's just ridiculous. We have speeding issues on that street. I've requested speed bumps. They've only applied 1. I've asked for a speed bump at the beginning of the block. We have children, we have elderly people, and I'm speaking for a lot of my elderly neighbors that could not be here today. In my being in that neighborhood for 30-something years, I'm in agreement in doing something. 1 family, 2 units, 1 home, 2 units. There is an entrance on Claremont that they can access and make the parking in the back or on the side of the house, which will not take away then from parking on our street. If that's something that he can come back with, a different drawing. I think that's something that is doable, but to have 3 units, we are all opposing that. And like I said, I speak for all my neighbors. We have a lot of draining issues. All our sidewalks need to be repaired. We are muddy. The streets are dirty, they're filthy. That's another issue, another department to talk to, okay? But these are our issues and our concerns. Parking, my neighbors have been asking me if they can park in my driveway, blocking my driveway, and they'll move it in the morning because they can't find parking on the street on alternate side. I know my neighbor knows me. I don't have a problem with that, but it's not on a regular weekly basis. And bringing 3 additional homes, 56 to 60 people probably living within that area, you cannot control the amount of vehicles those people are going to have who are purchasing these houses, and they will be using our streets. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
My name is Charles Daines. I live next door to the project that he's trying to build. I see that he has an attitude that he's coming here like Nino Brown, trying to push his way in to the board and to the community. I feel that he shouldn't have did it that way. He should have came to us as a community before he came to the board and find out what happened. The second time, he should have did it. What I think is going to be a problem, because if I'm here on on Claremont, he built 2 units here, right? He don't live there. I live next door. My wife works from home. I have a company that works out of my house, a business. So I can't have a lot of banging. And if I come to him and say, you need to slow it down, he might have an attitude and he might go at it. So me personally, I need to talk to the community first, see what we want, then we come back to it. Because it's not, if we keep going, bang, he don't want to budge.
He says not worth it. So if he's not worth it,
So what do you think in terms of what could be developed? In terms of the.
probably one unit.
Okay,
Yeah, because I live next door. If he-
A 1-2 family,
or one family, because
Okay.
I live next door. So if he put the house there, where's he gonna put it close to my house? So somebody could look in my living room that's what I wanna know. I don't know. He's saying he want one house here, one house here, one house here. He's not giving me how he wanted. He just want the 3 houses. So I'm confused. And when you ask him questions, he don't wanna budge. So that's my concern, that he don't wanna budge. Something is wrong. Okay, if he said, he said it himself. They were supposed to build there years ago. What happened? Why they didn't build there? The man who owned the house, that big house on the corner, he owned that building. Why didn't he build there? There's a reason why. So that's why I'm concerned. I want to do my research too at the same time. I don't know, but I'm trying to get some people to do the research, but I need to find out why it wasn't built there before. So, it's irritating me because he's not talking to y'all. He's talking to y'all like your child, your kids. He needs to find out and let you know that you're the board. He has to understand. I understand he bought a lawyer. I respect him. He has to make money just like I do. I have buses. If the lady tell me if I'm outside and she say, Charles, your bus is running too long. I live next door. I have to respect her. Sorry, ma'am, the bus won't be running. Steve, don't have the bus running. He's not budging. He has an attitude. He's coming here like Nino Brown. I don't like it. So I'm a little upset about the whole project because he didn't come back. He's talking about development 2 families to 3 families. I'm just really done with it. To be honest with you, I don't want it, but it's up to y'all. Okay? Right?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if there's anybody else in the public that's here that would like to speak in regards to this application, we welcome it. Don't be shy. It's just, please, it's an important process. So if you are here in regards to this application and you haven't spoken and there's something you would like to add, please come up. Do we have anyone on the chat room? No? All right. Do we have staff, council, any questions? Sorry? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Scully.
Yes.
Hi. Okay. So, I thought it was important for you to hear, concerns.
Yes,
from
that,
the public.
that was a lot to take in, and I'm certainly empathetic to the concerns of the community. But again, I would point out, the problem that we're having here is systemic throughout New York. We have more people, we don't have any more land. That's number one. Number two, as I pointed out, and I understand that the board at least acknowledged that we have demonstrated that this proposal does show that the applicant was considerate with respect to the density issue based on a number of factors that they addressed. And I'm not going to go through the recitation on what those factors are. But I think the salient point here, and again, I want to temper my argument by saying that I completely understand and appreciate the position of the members of the community. What does not square is the fact that this property is in an RMF 6.75 district. And that's important. If in fact my client had the same project and that project was cited in an RMF 2.45, a 2-family district, then every commentary that was made here tonight would have been beyond legitimate. it would have certainly been relevant to the concerns about the intensity and the density in that neighborhood. It would have been relevant with respect to the issue of the availability or unavailability of parking. Because when the comprehensive plan was adopted in 1963, and the zoning laws were enacted at that time as well, the city went through an exhaustive study and created these zones with specific purposes. And two-family zone was designated for the construction of two-family homes, with the understanding that a two-family home would not have the same intensity with respect to on-street parking issues. It would not have the same issues with respect to side yard, impervious surface. There are certain requirements that are effectively predominant in a two-family area that speak to the quality of life that you understand and you appreciate.
I think-
But we're talking about a 6.75. So
I think
the
that you
issue,
could appreciate that. We're talking about a comprehensive plan from the fifties.
I understand.
And the number of cars
right.
that people had back then, you
Yeah.
didn't have, you had a car, one car in a family.
Yeah.
You didn't have 3 or 4 cars in a family, so therefore, which is why we're going through a new comprehensive plan now.
Right.
Because certain things that were done years prior, things change.
I understand things change, but it doesn't alleviate the fact that this property is in a 6.75. This property is in an area that was designed for multifamilies. This property is in an area where they have or should expect to have less of an expectation of certain factors, such as the availability of parking on that block in that area. We cannot compare the standards that we would expect in an R 2.745 zone to be
But when you're also.
applied to a 6.75.
The streets that we're talking about right in the immediate area, those are one-family homes, those are one-family homes that are right there also. So you've got a mix that's there. Then you've got a lot of older homes that originally started off as one-family dwellings, some still are. But it is a mix. It's not just two-family homes that are there. And I think that what's, being missed here, and I'm hoping, because in the interest of time, if the applicant is willing to come back with something else, then, we can hear it, the residents can hear it. But if the applicant is not willing to do that, let us know now.
Well,
And
I'll certainly speak to my client, but I also want the board to appreciate the point I'm trying to make, which is the board, and I understand the commissioner's point of view that this board has the authority to opine on the issues of density. But this board does not have the authority to make determinations that are inconsistent with what's prescribed in our zoning map. That zoning map is there for a purpose. And here it is that we have an applicant that's proposing a development that is
And again, we acknowledge.
is constructing a property that's less than what's required in that zone.
We acknowledge zoning compliant, but zoning compliant does not necessitate that this board agree that you can build, anything that you want there.
Mr. Scully, with all due respect, I'd just like to know, why is there such a significant push to put these 3 families homes in this particular lot? We've heard from the concerns of the constituents. I'm quite sure you heard them as well, which they were a little calmer tonight because we've heard them loudly in the last 2 meetings. I don't understand why you cannot go back with your client to say, hey, let's come up with something that's going to be conforming to what the community is looking for.
No, I'll absolutely do that.
I think that's been a pushback from the team.
Right.
When I say that, I'm
Mhm.
talking about your consistent team. And I think, yeah.
Commissioner Sanders, if I can help. Mr. McIntosh wants to make money. So he,
Yeah.
wait, no, in all seriousness, I'm not being careful.
Right.
Mr. McIntosh purchased this parcel with this particular plan in mind to maximize his profit. The discussion that we're having now would significantly decrease his profit, and I'm sympathetic to that. But I'm also sympathetic to the concerns of the community writ large. So those things have to be balanced, period in the story. And to me, I feel like this is pretty binary. If Mr. McIntosh does not wish to make any adjustments, then my recommendation would be that this board close the public hearing and vote. If Mr. McIntosh is willing to make any type of adjustments, any type of consideration to try to work with the community, we are more than willing to have Mr. McIntosh come back to the next planning board meeting with a proposal that this planning board can review. It's that simple. If that's not the case, we can end this all now.
I was trying to be diplomatic with it. However, I agree with, Commissioner. We've gone over this is the third time we're sitting here hearing the same case.
Right.
So please, Mr. Scully, we're asking with all diplomacy here that you concur with your applicant. And I agree with my commissioner, my colleague wholeheartedly.
Understood. I will absolutely speak with my clients. And I would ask that we adjourn this matter to the next board meeting. Give my clients an opportunity to take into consideration. The only issue that I still believe is unanswered, I have not, and forgive me, I have not reviewed the financial analysis at this point. I will review that document. But what I can say is I've certainly taken under advisement what the chairman had said about the number of individuals that potentially could occupy this property. And I will discuss those issues with my client. I can't guarantee that what would be resubmitted to this board would still not be a two-family, might be a two-family of lesser scale. But
If you wouldn't mind, take 2 minutes, ask Mr. McIntosh whether or not it's something that he would consider doing for the next meeting. If not, we will close the meeting.
well, actually, I'd have to discuss it with one of the investors in the project. Okay? So if you can give me 5 minutes, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Give you 5 minutes. I am going to make a motion that we take a 5-minute recess. Made a motion that we make a five.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are. We're up. Mic on. Okay, I make a motion that we come back from our recess.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we are back. Mr. Scully.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I discussed at length the proposal with my client, and at this point, they are not prepared to submit any modifications to the design. So I would ask the board to deliberate on this application and render a decision.
I will make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second. So moved.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. We are closed. Do I have a motion? regarding this application?
Yes, I'll make a motion to vote on this application.
Okay. Um,
I make a motion to vote on this application,
Did we do secret the last?
we did see what the last meeting. We did see what the last meeting.
Maybe council can check.
Hold on, let's look at this. Right, we can do it again. We can do it again in case we did.
Now we can hear. We did it for.
All right, just in case, I am going to make a motion that we issue a negative declaration in regards to secret and that we establish ourselves as a leader.
Second.
Not?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the, other, okay. All right, so I will, thank you. Council, do you mind going through the, thank you. Microphone.
Come over here.
Hey, come join us.
Eleven quick questions. And the choices are no to small impact or moderate to large impact. 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
Small.
Okay. 2, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
Moderate.
3, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? 4, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? 6, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? 7, 2 parts. Will the proposed action impact existing A, public/private water supplies? And B, will it impact public or private wastewater treatment utilities? Second. Give me 1 second. Okay, 8, will the proposed action impair the quality or character of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? 9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, e.g. wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? And 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
All the moderate.
No to small or moderate to large? Okay, moderate. So no to small, 1, 2, 3, 4. Answers were no to small and moderate to large, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's up to the board to determine whether you wish to issue a negative declaration or positive declaration. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Let me take a quick look to see, according to Secra, what the impact of a positive declaration would be. If anything is needed further. Just reading from page 86 of the Secret Handbook. What is a positive declaration? A positive declaration is a determination by the lead agency that an action may result in one or more significant environmental impacts, and so will require the preparation of an environmental impact statement before agency decisions may be made regarding the action. The positive declaration starts the EIS process. So that would essentially mean that further investigations would have to be done regarding the environmental impacts. It is possible, based on where I'm hearing the board leading, it is possible to issue a negative deck and still approve or disapprove an application. You do not need a positive declaration for secret purposes in order to approve or disapprove an application.
Thank you, council. All right, so I'm gonna go back to, make a motion in regards to secret that we issue a negative declaration.
Second.
Right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Will, in terms of, who do we have, other commissioners there?
And also just in terms of process, the board does have up to 62 days after the close of a public hearing to take a vote on the application. If there, I'm sorry, any other departmental comments that are in process that the board may want to consider, the record can be left open to receive written comments, but all of these are just options.
Comment for what, 2-week period?
That's customary.
Frankly, focus more on that, and they're not, they're not presented.
Okay, all right, well, the motion carried. Okay, I am going to make a motion to disapprove the application based on factors that fall within the purview of the planning board, relying heavily upon the record in regards to density, vehicular driving patterns,
Vehicular driving patterns, parking, quality of life, potential issues from a crime standpoint, and others. And I'd also like to note for the record that the applicant was given multiple opportunities to adjust his application and chose not to do so.
okay, so there's a motion, so there's a friendly amendment, Commissioner White's. We're gonna be voting on the friendly amendment. Based on that, is there a second to Mr. White's motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. So we got, was that Commissioner Moore? Okay, all right.
Correct.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Okay, all right, motion carried. The application has been denied.
The Commissioner Troop.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, board.
Yeah, so I'd like to get out before we
Yes.
go to the next. All right, we are going to this, a new public hearing, 4.2. Case number PB 24 420 North Terrace Avenue. Let's see, this is. Oh, I'm going to there we go. This is a application requesting site plan approval to construct a 3-story, 12-unit multifamily dwelling on the property. The applicant previously received approvals for area variances from the zoning board of appeals. All right, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Munene, representing Shine Badali in this application. Address 2 Wilson Place, Mount Vernon, New York, 10550. As stated, our application is to propose a new 3-story building with 12 units, a total of 7 2-bedrooms and 7 1-bedrooms and 5 2-bedrooms, scattered among the 3 floors. We do have a variance that a couple variances are requested and approved, about 10 variances. One is for the lot coverage, the lot area per dwelling unit, the lot width of the property, the front yard setback, side yard setback, the off-street parking spaces provided, the driveway width, and the driveway setback from the property line. So I can show the site plan. So the property has 0 yard in the front. The parking is located at the rear end of the property, a total of 12 parking spaces as opposed to the 24 parking spaces that are required. It is sitting on a 5,500 square feet. It has a total of about 11,000 residential square footage among all the units in total, 11,800 square feet. We have, as stated before, received the variances that are required, but we would like to request the planning board to issue their comments or any other suggestions they would have on the design, and that we'll be more than willing to work with the board to, see it through.
I'm just curious, so I know.
It's 12 units, yeah. He's the owner for both buildings as well. Yeah, he owns these 2 buildings and tries to develop a 3rd one right there.
The buildings next door were 1 bed. Correct.
And breakdown, you said 7 2-bedrooms and 5.
7 1-bedrooms and 5 2-bedrooms, yeah. Yep.
5.
Yep. I can show the floor plans if you want to see the layout, or if you're interested.
So 420 North Terrace, is this what you're?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't there a building already there?
There's a 2-family house currently.
Because it says here I'm just looking it up as we
Yeah.
talk. 420 North Terrace Avenue is a multi-family home.
Yeah, there's a 2-family house currently, a small, yeah.
Okay.
It's like setback.
Setback.
Mhm.
I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Seeing that the building pretty much takes up the entire property. Don't really have much of a landscape plan.
Right, yeah, we tried to squeeze as much parking as we could, so it took away the landscape that we could provide.
But by the lighting plan.
I don't believe we have a lighting plan yet indicated. That makes sense. I- Right, so we have two lights in the back of the property beaming into the parking lot. We have about three on the side of the property facing the driveway. And two at this is the cellar. There's part of the parking is in the cellar through the back. If you let me show you the elevation so it makes sense. So this is the front of the property. So you slope into the backyard. And the parking in the same driveway. We kind of go back into the half of the cellar is parking behind it. So the cellar mechanical rooms are in this area. Lights the inside of that area, if you know what if you understand what I'm saying.
So when I'm parking at the back there, is there access from the back to go in, or do I have to walk around to the?
There's a door. Let me check that. Yep, so there's a door here, from the parking area into the cellar, and then you take the elevator or the stairs. We also have bicycle parking and the trash area in that area.
What type of security measures are you going to take for this particular building?
We can provide cameras.
Okay.
Yeah. I can add a camera plan in there as well.
Put a camera plan?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're entering, that's a visual one for you to see, so, if I live there and someone's coming to visit me, you're able to see who's pressing the buzzer to give access to let me in, is that?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just need you to just state your name for the record, so we have it, that's okay.
Sal Tedeschi, I'm managing member for North Terrace Ownership Group. Yes, there will be camera intercom if that's what you're asking.
Right.
Yeah.
They can access that from my phone and also.
Yeah.
That way.
Yes. We have intercom on our camera.
Will there be any outside security? I'm sorry, Chair. Any outside security?
On this building?
Yes.
I believe there is. Yeah.
Usually what we look for is for retention of the minimum 60 to 90 days for the cameras in the front, so in the event that something going on in the area, public safety will be able to, access and see what's going on.
Yeah, I don't believe we issued a camera plan, but we can add that to the plan, the comprehensive plan that we issue for the final approval. Yeah.
Probably be helpful, in the back as well, some parking's in the back, so cars, if anybody gets broken into, you're able to.
Yep.
Hopefully deter them by some. Well.
Yes, sir.
Safe neighborhood. Right. Yeah. 100%. It's terrible. Those. So I can't really tell so much from the rendering that I'm seeing. Is the building gonna look nicer than what I'm seeing?
It is gonna be a brick veneer. We can change it up how you wanna, you guys are open to give suggestions.
That are being there.
We can look to add, some more.
The ARB will really deal with that.
Right.
It just looks, very.
Yeah, so we'll do an extensive. Okay, Yeah, so from what he's telling me that he's discussed with my team to kind of enhance the front of the property to give maybe different siding colors or something. And the top, he mentions that the top is different. I think the crown is what you're referring to, the top, the parapet, or? Yeah, the crown area, but I think you guys are referring to the actual, right? Maybe stucco at the
Facing.
first floor or something. We'll go through the architectural review board and see what their suggestions are, but yeah. Yes, sir. Since it's a zero lot, there's only so much you can encroach into the, zero front yard, I mean, there's so much you can encroach into the, yeah.
So. Previous discussion. talked about this.
Mhm.
Considerations. Similar to the other two buildings, there's 12 same units. As opposed to having 5, 2, because I didn't have 12 parking spots. But now you may add additional 5 additional individuals live there who are driving. And like I said, I went over there a couple times to ready like this block because of all the buildings in the area. Was that you have consideration to that?
Well, the buildings next door, the apartments are much smaller. Half the size of what the
Right.
the same size building you were able to get.
Right, but that doesn't, you're talking about the density aspect. I understand that the building is larger. I'm just saying for the number of them.
Use the microphone.
Right.
Yes.
You know.
I'm just saying, just for the individuals, was there any consideration just to do single occupant units as opposed to the 2 family? I know you can fit 2 bedrooms. I'm just saying for the density aspect of it with the 5 2-bedrooms, right? Now you don't have 5 additional spots for those individuals that may be living there. As I said, it's already that block seems a little crowded already. I wonder, did you give that any consideration?
Well, we reduced the size of the building as it is. It started at 16 units.
Right, I know that was the area. I know the zoning board, you had discussions with them. Was that the
Correct.
conversation?
Maybe just kind of walk us through where you started.
Yep.
It's the project with zoning in terms of.
We started with a 16 unit. I believe it was seven 2-bedrooms. I don't remember how many 1-bedrooms it was, with 4 stories. And we reduced it to 3 stories and 12 units to match what's there.
Right.
Most of the houses that are in the area are, some of them are 2 families.
Right.
For the most part, they're 3 and up. There's a building right across the street. Not sure how many families that is. It's more than 4, I believe. So and the neighbors, most of the neighbors use their driveways there.
Okay.
I've owned that for 20 years. I've never had a problem with the tenants complaining about parking.
Okay.
Or our neighbors complaining about parking. Out of the 24 people in the building next door, I believe there's 36 people total. And we did a study that there's 9 cars out of the 36 people. So we have public transportation that is directly across the street from the building.
Right, Fleetwood.
We have Metro North, that's a 7-minute walk. So that's why most of the people that are in the building, the 2 buildings next door, don't have a car, nor do most of our neighbors. So as far as the density of car parking, it's not that bad considering the block.
Thank you. I see that you have 2 EV spaces, here as well.
Yes, sir. Now what? No, we squeeze as much space as we could for parking because there was No.
Remember, this is market rate as well.
Yeah.
The whole building's market rate, no affordable.
I think you'd mentioned
there
affordable.
I believe
There's, yeah, it's affordable.
As
Yeah.
an affordable house.
Yeah,
That meets that standard, I'm saying.
right.
That meets that standard. Okay, one.
Ground also. Nothing coming.
In the cellar, yep.
By at night, so I couldn't really make out the condition of the sidewalk that's gonna be there. Does that need to be sidewalk put in there?
It's gonna be new sidewalk from the new building all the way across to the other two adjoining buildings.
There, yeah, there is an existing, there's an
Existing
existing,
driveway there.
yeah.
There any amenities or anything for this property?
Oh, yeah, there's a rec room, you were just mentioning, there's a rec room, cellar. In the cellar area, you'll see a rec room on the bottom.
What page is that?
Page
5? That's something so. Like flat screen TV there, something for people to come in and watch.
Well, I have meeting.
That's gonna be Wi-Fi enabled, you'll have.
Yeah.
Okay. Anticipate the construction time. The year. Here, there's more.
Yeah. On page 15, we have 8 Caltech chambers proposed under the parking area, page 8. No, page 15, sorry.
What's the size of the chambers?
I think they're about 70 square or cubic feet of storage, but the total storage provided is about 700. We only need about 600 and something. Let me check.
Like what year storm?
Yeah. It's usually 24-hour storm. Yeah, 100 a year, 24-hour, 6.5 inches, yeah.
So, you know, the roof, you know, everything from the roof and then the, you know, the parking lot, everything will be retained right there in this chamber.
Yeah, it's for all the lot coverage. So yeah, like I was saying, it's 62 cubic feet of storage and you only required 655 cubic feet. So about provided more than needed.
Fencing around the back there?
Yeah, we do have a fence around the back of the property.
Okay.
Up to where the other property adjoins right there.
And what type of fence was that?
It's not labeled, but I can provide a label, probably vinyl or aluminum, vinyl, or, yeah, vinyl. We're open to suggestions. We can go aluminum fence, chain link fence. Yeah, chain link, chain link fence. It's not that aesthetically pleasing, but wrought iron, yeah, okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's
aluminum.
yeah, that's what I'm talking.
It's a little, but it's like the commercial grade, it's stronger, it's a heavier.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
It's weather resistance.
That feel that aluminum almost looks like a gel. If you have something that has some oil on it. With the PVC, that's some.
Okay, well, if we could get a more detailed visual of what the PVC is and kind of compare the two, we can,
No.
And what, and the height as well, the height. of the fence.
6 feet max. Yeah.
Camera, the security cameras are gonna, that's gonna be reflected there showing the front and the back, probably side, probably makes sense also on the side where the parking lot is.
Yeah.
That elevation.
Same management company is going to be managing this particular property to ensure that garbage and rodents and repellents and all those things are just distinguished, exterminator and all those things are part of the package, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so walk us through the refuse, thank you, bring that up.
Mhm.
Where is the refuse gonna be contained?
We have a refuse area in the cellar where, right, with, in front of the parking spaces. Like, it's better seen on the cellar plan, see where it is.
Okay. The recyclables, you'll have everything that's there. How many containers are going to?
2 could fit here, we have 7, we can have 2 big containers there. Yeah.
Extermination schedule, how what do we have for that?
Monthly? Monthly.
Have you had problems with the other properties?
No, because we keep up with that, that it's mandatory that we do that. The tenants are mandatory to let them in. So we've never had an issue with the buildings next door.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions? No. Questions? So yeah, you're a little tired from the ZBA from. So you've already added all of your. Okay, all right, fair enough.
I have questions.
All right, I was getting you. All right, council.
Can we just run through the traffic and environmental standards? From a drafting standpoint, I can read through them and you will explain how the plan addresses them. So the first is regarding safe, adequate, and convenient vehicular and pedestrian traffic circulation. So what impact would the development have on traffic conditions on the existing streets?
So we did provide a vehicular maneuvering into and out of the site, that the plan for the vehicular maneuvering in and out. So it's sort of a 12-feet driveway, so you can only have like one car coming in and out. We have provided a couple of signage to kind of control the traffic. We have a sensor at the front of the property where if it senses a car coming in, there's a sign here that notifies the people who are exiting the property that there's a car coming in and they have to yield the right of way so that they can come in and then and come out. We have the specs for the signs are provided on a page here where there's going to be a sign on the property, in the back of the property saying that all the vehicles entering out right of way. And then the sensor with the illuminated caution sign is gonna be in the same spot as well to let them know there's a incoming vehicle once the sensor triggers at the front and they can stop and kind of maneuver in and out.
That's illuminated?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this one, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's how.
Visibility in both directions at the exit points of the site?
There is a clear, I think photos were sent of the street view. There's a clear sight from each side. I don't believe there's a tree. I don't think there's a tree on each side of the, yeah. So there's a clear sight of view, line of view from either side of the traffic.
Handicap facilities for parking, such as the ramps, the press curbs, reserved parking spaces. What sheet is that?
I'm looking up handicap parking. We don't have a handicap parking. It's something we can look to add, but the build, yeah.
Yeah, there is handicap.
It's
one
not-
handicap spot.
It's not shown on the plan though. So I'll show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one handicap spot.
This should be shown to be handicapped because there's an aisle there right next to it. Yeah. So I'll show the handicap sign just to know that it's a handicap sign. And also in terms of accessibility, the building has an elevator, so and it's the parking is flush almost with the cellar level, so you can just roll right in and go into the elevator.
Is this ADA compliance with wheelchair accessibility?
The first floor, I believe, should be compliant. Can double check. Yeah. Yeah, the first floor, the first floor usually should be compliant with all the handicap requirements. Yeah.
And adequacy for emergency vehicles in terms of the street width, circulation around the site.
We have not shown the emergency vehicle circulation. We can provide that as part of the revisions in addition to what was added here. We only have the vehicular circulation.
Based on what you know, the streets.
That was. All right, so he just informed me it was discussed in the zoning board and approved the emergency vehicle circulation.
Turning radius?
I'm sorry?
Tell me.
The turn.
I'm sorry, tell me again what you were saying?
It was discussed in the zoning board meeting, emergency vehicle access, and it was approved.
Have we had correspondence from, fire safety and, public safety, any? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
They're making some about the parking.
So yeah, sorry, if we could have that correspondence also, this is what we have. Record of it.
Now moving on to the environmental, thank you for the traffic. Is there a dust erosion prevention plan? During construction, what measures are in place to prevent dust and erosion and drainage onto adjacent property?
Yeah, we do have an erosion control plan. It's on page 17.
And the house that's there now,
We're gonna file for demolition. Demolition.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the demo plan in terms of, sure, with the age of the house, there could be some carcinogenic toxins, asbestos, things of that nature, lead things. So
Yeah.
What's the plan to,
You are required to abate the asbestos during the application. You need to provide
it's
an
a wet-
asbestos
wet-
report.
wet,
Usually we don't engage in that. There's an asbestos crew that comes in from the Department of Health, verified, and they come and do that. So, but they have to issue the report of the findings or if they abated it during the process, and that's what we issue in order to get the demolition permit.
And you mentioned the call text regarding stormwater management and finally, just access to sunlight for present or potential future solar system.
Wait, could you repeat that? Sorry.
How is the project regarding access to sunlight for present or potential future solar energy systems?
Oh.
so like
Do we
the
have
roof is a roof.
the roof-
compatible
roofing
in
plan.
terms of-
Do we have a solar on the roof? I don't believe we have any solar panels on the roof currently, but it's something that is required. We can look to provide it. Are you open to solar panels on the roof?
Solar panels now.
Right.
If need be.
Right.
the roof would be.
Yeah, there's enough space too.
So in terms of what do we have? Heat pumps, how are we that operate as the AC, is everything electric? What are we?
Electric. Mini splits.
Splits.
Each apartment controls their own heat and air conditioning? Okay.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Right, we did, it was great ground.
You're gonna give us a security plan, you're gonna come back with security plan, lighting, everything, so that.
Yeah, they're lighting us.
The additional lighting, right?
Yep.
No, I don't.
Okay, is there anybody else that?
Commissioner Morris.
He's on.
Yeah.
All right, can you ask?
I don't know if he's listening.
Okay, Commissioner Zamora, do you have any, comments, questions in regards to this application? If not, I'm gonna turn it over to the public who wants to, speak in regards to this application. Anyone here from the public that would like to speak in regards to this application? Yes? Anybody, no one, okay. All right. Okay, so very minor things for sign.
Yeah.
That's it, so we're gonna, fence, right?
Cameras.
Okay.
Security.
Security. Camera, the retention, having it, minimum. 60 or 90 days that we can ask. 60 says what?
It's been 60 days.
60, okay. Minimum 60 days with that. And then probably this, couple more, lights on the side and the back also.
Okay,
and then the
Yeah.
cameras at the back.
right.
Is anything else, or anything else that we asked?
Showing one handicap spot.
Yes.
And, the flow of the flow of the ambulance. You said it was
Well,
approved though.
Well, we had, yeah, they had that with zoning.
So,
just
okay,
asking
so you said
for-
it was approved already, okay. And then a complete lighting plan, you said there were.
Yeah, we just, yeah.
So equipment inside is what, is a stainless steel, refrigerator and so forth and so on? Dishwasher,
Laundry in the unit, stackables, or how was that word? Stackable in the closet.
each apartment.
In terms of the lighting plan, was there any additional lighting that you wanted as besides this? Because we already had a lighting plan on the plans.
But one of the lighting, I mean, I didn't see it in the back.
Oh, this is, yeah, there's two lights in the back of the building.
Right, and then,
Illuminating.
okay, and the security cameras in the back.
Well, the security cameras is gonna be a different plan, but yeah.
Right,
we'll add
and
that.
then on the side, which, we're here, right. What we were, right.
Here? You saying about this area?
So that,
Okay, we can add a light pole or maybe illuminate as well.
right, but on this over here, the side, this is the side, this is the side that goes back to the.
Yeah,
To the parking
yeah,
lot?
yeah, yeah.
All right, some lights.
Just show them on the elevations.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Or it's that side also.
Okay. Okay.
I have nothing else to do that. Everybody else has nothing else.
Can we request this to be conditional, like request, or do we have to revise and come back for presentation?
What's that, sir? No.
Oh, okay.
Just
Just
come
revise
back.
and
Yeah,
just-
just come back. It's just,
Okay.
it's very minimal stuff. Just
Okay.
bring that with us and then, don't think you need anything else after that.
Okay,
All right?
sounds good.
All right.
Try it.
It was. I said
Yeah.
you gotta try. All right. All right. All right. I make a motion that we adjourn until the March meeting. What's the date for that? March 5th. All right, we have a motion and second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
for coming. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you March 5th.
Yes.
But, is there anything administrative at this time? I think we get that up earlier, so I'm gonna make a motion. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Yes. Yes, they did it. Thank you. Okay. So I make a motion that we adjourn for the evening. Yeah, all in favor? Aye.
Have a good night.